Okay, a lot of people have been asking about social distancing and coronavirus. Does taking the stairs count as social distancing? Probably. Do you need to do it? Or is it overkill? It's probably overkill. I gotta stop. But in this video, we're gonna talk all about social distancing and what you should do for your family as we go through coronavirus. Okay, so you've probably heard on the news recently about social distancing, and it's kind of the new buzz term right now going on because of coronavirus. And a lot of parents are wondering, like, what does that actually mean? And what does that mean for me as a parent? And how do I practice social distancing? Essentially, what social distancing is really the idea that if we can keep away from large groups of people, if we can distance ourselves socially, then what we can do is impact the spread of the virus. Now, what it doesn't mean is that we're not going to get coronavirus or other illnesses because we isolate ourselves completely, we shut ourselves off from outside society and seal the doors and windows and batten down the hatches. But what it does mean is we're going to avoid unnecessary exposures in hopes that we can delay the spread of coronavirus. In a sense, it is delaying what is inevitable because it is likely that coronavirus will continue to spread. But what we're hoping is that instead of concentrating the disease in a specific set of 3 to 4 weeks, what if we can extend the season over 3 to 4 months? Everyone greater than 80% of the population will still get coronavirus, but it will be less of a burden on our already strapped healthcare system. So in other countries, they've seen huge explosions, like Italy, for example, in coronavirus, and the spread has been met with lack of healthcare resources, not just ICU beds or hospital beds, but ventilators and everything that goes along with that. And so what we're hoping to do is if we can practice social distancing, we can spread the disease burden out across more and more months. And what that does is it allows those that need the resources to utilize them without strapping the whole system down. Now, we'll probably have a similar number of cases regardless, but the disease burden and the disease severity will be less on the community if we can spread that out. What does that mean in practice for my family? That means avoiding unnecessary exposures when we have the chance to just stay at home or stay in a smaller group setting. Now, if you're watching this, you're probably in the 80% plus of people who will have a mild disease course. You may get a runny nose, cough, congestion, fever for a few days. You probably won't even have to go to your doctor's office, but you may have to, they might just check your breathing and pulse and oxygen level and blah, 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 blah. But the likelihood is that the vast majority of people, it will be a mild illness where they have a couple days missed work or missed school because of fever, and then they will make their way through like every other cough and cold that you get during flu, RSV, respiratory viral season. What we want to do is try and avoid exposing those that are higher risk for complications. So the elderly, those with immune suppressed states, those with cancer, those with respiratory, cardiovascular, neurologic, renal disease from getting the virus. And what we want to do is spread that out so they all get it if they have to get it over a different period of time rather than having it so concentrated on a certain set of upcoming weeks. Can I still go to daycare? Can I still go to school? What I would use to make that decision is guidance from your local health department and your pediatrician's office. In reality, this disease, although it's nationwide, although it's a worldwide pandemic, what really matters to you is what's happening locally. Some schools are canceling, some schools are not, but I would look to your community resources to decide on school appropriateness, school closing. I think it's a fine idea to start planning. What if they do call off school in 2 weeks from now? What are we going to do for daycare? What are we going to do to keep our kids occupied? Making those contingency plans in advance is certainly worthwhile and having a plan in place. So if that day comes, that you're prepared for it. But I don't think that you need to pull them from school at this point if everyone else is saying it's fine to go to school. We have great healthcare resources, epidemiologists, and health departments in our country, and so I would trust and follow their recommendations. school, daycare, those sorts of things where it gets decided at the local level. Now, what about like a birthday party? That's just a family thing, or it's a family in the class or something. Honestly, if you're able to, I would scale down the birthday parties. That's just another opportunity to have to, expose a lot of kids to each other. Now, they're probably all going to have mild disease, but they might take it to a grandparent or a parent or a neighbor or something like that that is at higher risk. So I would just try and pare those down. That doesn't mean you have to cancel birthday. You could just pare it down to a few friends doing, a special craft or sport or activity or outing or something like that, where it's not the whole class getting together and all the parents congregating together for a birthday party, something like that. Just scale it down a little bit, still make it special, because at the end of the day, we still have to live our lives. We still have to go about our normal activities, and we should celebrate birthdays and special events and occasions like we would otherwise. What about going to the grocery store? I think this is another place where you see a lot of people and you get in nearby contact with a lot of other people. How can you do that in the social distancing model? Well, what you could do is try and batch your trips to the grocery store. Instead of we go to the grocery store a few times a week because we don't really make a list and we kind of just fly by the seat of our pants, maybe have a week or two of meals planned out. You'll probably eat healthier too if you plan meals out in advance, and then you can go one time. You could even go at a non-peak time, so in the evening or early morning, something like that. Go to the grocery store so you're exposed to less people. We use Instacart or another delivery sort of service, which really actually doesn't cost like anything, and it allows us to get groceries without having to go to the grocery store, not because of the spread of coronavirus, but because we're kind of lazy and don't want to give up 2 hours of our week to go grocery shopping when we can have somebody else that helps us out to do that. Travel, that's another big question that I hear a lot, and I would consider altering your travel plans. I think that prudence would say that if you're planning a big trip through multiple airports and have the chance to get exposed to a lot of different people from across the country, it's probably best just to say, okay, we're going to scale down a little bit. We're going to have a staycation, or we're going to change our flight plan so that we only fly through one airport to limit the spread or our potential spread to others, and to bring things back to our own community. Now, you can still have special outings, but it might just be a postponing of travel. But again, at the end of the day, if it's something that's really meaningful to you and your family, it's really important, then I think that's a personal decision that you have to make. You have to weigh the pros and cons and look at the local epidemiology, where you are, because that's what you're going to be bringing, to where you're going, what's already there, and then what you're going to bring back home. So take those things into account, but it's really a personal decision for families to make. Can I go outside, or do I need to seal the exits? Please, please, please go outside. Get fresh air. Go for family walks. Play in the park, do those sort of things. If we look at flu season, if we look at RSV season and respiratory viral season, it's in winter when it's cold and people are inside more. In the summer, we don't have all these illnesses running around because people are outside more. People are not in such confined quarters. So you can continue to go outside. You can go on walks around the neighborhood. Like, think about if you walk around your block or your neighborhood or whatever, how many people that you get in so close contact that if they sneeze that you would get their respiratory particles? Probably none. You're probably going to see some dogs, a few people that you wave and say hey to or chat for a few minutes with. That is a very low risk activity with a very high reward, not just for your peace of mind, but for seeing other people and talking with them and communicating and getting exercise and maintaining your own health. Go outside. What else I would do as a family? Get some extra board games, take up some new crafts or something like that, where you can do inside activities, you can have outside activities. If you have to do a little bit more screen time, I'm going to allow it right now, but I'm going to say that we need an endpoint at that, because I don't want you to get, just go screen time rampant for the next 4 months and blame it on coronavirus. But if something you are going to do, you need to change plans and you need to include a little bit more screen time, make it something where you can connect as a family. Everyone sits down together. You ask the 3-year-old what you think is going to happen next or what's going on. Those are just ideas to get screen time a little bit more high yield for families. And if you need to make dinner and put screen time on, I'm cool with that too. Go outside, wash your hands, stay sane, look out for each other, be kind and empathetic. Just be kind and thoughtful about what other people must be going through. And that probably if I'm stressed out and worried about it, other people are too. And they might be thinking about a relative or a loved one or somebody that they're worried about too. And just kind of give everyone a little extra grace as we get through this as a community, as a country, as a world, and keep up the good work. If you would subscribe, there's a little button down there, to subscribe so that you don't miss any more episodes of this. And if you could share it with somebody, send the link to someone, send a screenshot to somebody, share it so that other people can get this message. I think it will help to bring calm to others that are going through this. It isn't easy. This is not fun. This is scary, serious stuff. And together we can get through it. And if we can help each other to be calm and thoughtful and empathetic, then I think it'll go much smoother. Keep up the good work. That's the 6th floor that I just walked up to, just for you guys, to get you to watch this video.